A very good afternoon to you and thank you for your time. This is Midday Live coming to you from our studio here at Adesawe in Accra. Coming up for the next 1 hour. The governing New Patriotic Party, NPP, starts vetting of presidential aspirants. We'll give you the very latest update. While we are hearing that Alan Kyerematen has just concluded his presidential vetting. Also coming up, the Court of Appeal overturns the High Court decision to conduct the Opuni trial afresh. We'll give you the latest regarding that as well. And later on the international front, we know that some political activities have been ongoing in Senegal, where the opposition leader Sonko urges public protest against President Sall's third term bid. My name is Martin Asiedu Date. Let's settle for the details of our stories now. We are starting from the political front because a lot is happening at the NPP flag bearer race tightens up. We're going to the party headquarters where the governing New Patriotic Party is today vetting three party persons who have thrown in their bid to run as flag bearer for the party ahead of the 2024 general elections. Former Trade and Industry Minister Alan Kyerematen, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and businessman and energy expert Kojo Nsafu-Apoku will be the first to face the vetting committee, which is chaired by former Speaker of Parliament, Professor Mike Oquaye. My colleague Noble Crosby Annan has pitched camp at the NPP party head office. Will be joining us shortly for the latest regarding what has transpired so far. On your screen now is when Alan Kyerematen arrived. He is first to meet the vetting committee, and information we are gathering indicate that he has just completed the vetting, and has just stepped out. So when we cross over to Noble Crosby Annan, he will be updating us on what exactly has gone on. So he's joining us. Noble, good afternoon. Thank you for your time. What has gone on so far? We hear Alan has completed the vetting process. All right, so yeah, we'll be getting the latest regarding what Noble Crosby Annan will be giving us regarding this very latest story where Alan Kyerematen, I should say, former trade minister, has just completed his vetting session. We also are expecting energy consultant and then a businessman, Kojo Nsafu-Apoku, to be next to face the vetting committee. And then the third person expected later today is Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. They are the first three to meet the vetting committee today. Tomorrow, another batch of three will be meeting the committee. Now, the committee chaired by Professor Mike Oquaye, former Speaker of Parliament, has been mandated to ensure that they are able to prune down the 10 people who have thrown in their hearts to run for flag bearer of the NPP. If they are unsuccessful at cutting down the number from 10 to exactly 5, then it is likely the party will have to hold a special congress where delegates will vote to pick the top 3 who will go into the final race. So hopefully we'll get a good connection to Noble Crosby Annan to let us know what's been going on there so far. We also have information that Kojo Nsafu-Apoku is about entering or has entered to meet the committee because he was there while Alan's vetting was ongoing. He waited his time. It's time for him to now meet the committee. And primarily, he's been telling us that what he's awaiting to see when he meets the committee will be to expatiate on his credentials and what has been captured in the nomination forms that they submitted to the committee or to the party election body. When they pick their nomination forms, they filled it. It is mandatory that whoever picks up those nomination forms must get signatories from all 275 constituencies, or at least the 16 regions, proving that, yes, of this particular individual, I support or endorse him. And then when we get all of that, then they can submit it. He has cleared all of that, now needs to go through the vetting. Crosby Annan, what's happening now?
Minister Alan Kyerematen go inside, and he spent close to 2 hours there in his vetting process, which is led by the former Speaker of Parliament, Aaron Mike Oquaye. When the former Trade Minister came out in his engagement with the media, he mentioned that it was a smooth process. And of course, this is not the first time the Trade Minister is being vetted or contesting to become flag bearer of the party. So he mentioned that it was relatively easy for him. He answered all the questions posed. When quizzed about what kinds of engagement happened, he mentioned that he would like for it to stay in the house of the party and not, not information for the general public. So he mentions that it was a smooth process for him. Already, we also know that Kojo Nsafo-Apoku, an energy analyst also, who made it as part of the 10 to contest for the flag bearership position of the NPP, is in the office of the party where the vetting is ongoing at the moment. He entered right about some 30 minutes ago, immediately after Alan Kyerematen exited the building. In his engagement with the media before he entered, he noted that he expects nothing but the best, and he was very confident in his abilities to lead the party. We're expecting the Vice President, Dr. Bawumia, as the third candidate to be here at the Campaign and Elections Office of the party, who will also be vetted. We already were seeing some supporters of the Vice President, Dr. Bawumia, wearing some indications of their support to the Vice President, Dr. Bawumia. We understand he will be arriving shortly to also take his turn at the vetting committee of the party. We're also seeing the presence of some police and military officers also, if you like, preparing the way for the Vice President to arrive and go through the vetting process. So far, this is what has been happening here at the party's headquarters, the party's election and the campaign office, where the vetting is ongoing, which is being led by the former Speaker of Parliament, Aaron Mike Oquaye. So we know that on Tuesday, tomorrow, the former Energy Minister, Boakye Agyarko, former General Secretary of the party, Kwabena Agyapong, and Member of Parliament for Ascent Central, Kennedy Agyapong, will face the committee. Then on Wednesday, we'll see Dr. Kofi Konadu-Apraku, Dr. Owusu Afriyie-Akoto, and Joe Gatti will appear on July 5, 2023. The last will be Francis Adainimo, who will show up on the party on Thursday, July 6. We know that there's an 11-member committee that is undertaking this entire vetting process of the party. Martin.
Thank you very much, Noble Crosby Annan, from the Campaign and Election Office of the New Patriotic Party, where the vetting is currently underway. We'll definitely be keeping you in the loop as to how all of that transpired. The Vice President is also expected and should be there, hopefully, in the next few minutes. Let's turn our attention away from the NPP now and head to the courts, because the Court of Appeal has, in a unanimous ruling, overturned the decision by the High Court, and Accra High Court that is, to restart the trial of former Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Cocoa Board, Dr. Stephen Opuni Frimpong. A new presiding judge, Kwesi Anochi Gyimah, who had taken over from the retired Justice Honyenuga, held that it would be unfair to continue with the case of the former Cocoa Board CEO after 5 years since it was fraught with numerous allegations. He said a fresh trial was an avenue for the court to substantially dispel the set suspicions and regain the confidence the defendants and public trust in the process. Attorney General Godfred Yeboah Dame filed an appeal challenging the decision of the High Court, citing that it was against the tenets of a fresh trial. In the meantime, Justice Kwesi Anochi Gyimah, who is reported to have been asked is actually being reported to have been asked by the Chief Justice to relocate to Kumasi. He will begin work actually today, the 3rd of July. Justice Aboagye Tando of the Winneba High Court will replace Justice Gyimah. Justice Tando will be the 3rd judge on the Dr. Opuni Frimpong case, and after Justice Clemens Honyenuga retired, the case was handed over to Justice Gyimah, who has since been transferred. So let's listen to some of the conversations post the court conversation.
Work towards this particular aspect of the criminal process being made into law specific?
Yes, I think that's something that already I've taken steps to do. I've already initiated a bill for amendment of various parts of the Criminal Procedure Act of Ghana. The bill has already gone to the Judicial Council. The Judicial Council has considered it and has actually okayed it. And it makes provisions for adoption of evidence in clear terms by a trial court. It makes provision for reform of the jury system. It makes provision for a trial day-to-day, which is actually the norm. And it is only in this country where trial, especially in relation to financial offences, takes so long to conclude. I mean, it is just unheard of in England, America, and elsewhere that the trial regarding financial offences which affect the taxpayers first will take about 6 years to conclude. It cannot be such trials concluded in no time. And I speak from experience. When I was in private practice in 2009, when the MPP was opposition, I conducted the very first criminal trial involving former ministers serving in the MPP before administration. Republic versus Presidio Osei, the former foreign minister. I was Presidio Osei's counsel. And the trial lasted no more than 10 months. In those 10 months, the prosecution had called 17 witnesses. I cooperated with all the white
Court will take this position.
You know, I mean, that statement you made is wrong. There are many decisions of the High Court, the Supreme Court, and Court of Appeal actually directed adoption of proceedings in all matters. I did refer the court to same. Already they have this on record, which will direct that the High Court in criminal matters is mandated to adopt evidence. And the decision that you appealed against itself, we made that point that yes, it is actually not unconventional for criminal proceedings to be adopted in a trial. And so it cannot be correct that when it comes to civil matters, there's provision for adoption of evidence, and in criminal matters, there's no such provision. Indeed, the true position of the law is that it is actually up to the trial judge to make that determination. The trial judge makes that determination based on factors that he considers necessary. And if the parties are aggrieved by the exercise of that discretion, the parties are entitled to an appeal, which we did. And we felt that the matters that were relied upon by the trial judge were with all respect to him.
All right, so that's Attorney General Godfred Dame. Let's talk about the conversations around the James Gyekye Quayson, the Member of Parliament-elect for Assin North. So the Domahene has appealed to the Attorney General to file a nolle prosequi to halt the criminal trial of Assin North Member of Parliament-elect James Gyekye Quayson. Mr. Quayson is facing trial for perjury at the High Court in Accra. Now, Sajifo Siadeyo Ajimambedu II, who is also a High Court judge, spoke at the Atamils Memorial Lecture in Sunyai in the Bono region over the weekend.
Ghana's laws accept dual citizenship. It is also true that you cannot be a member of parliament if you have dual citizenship.
Without prejudice to the outcome of a court case pending before the High Court, Accra,
I'm talking about a member of parliament who renounced his Canadian citizenship. He got into some legal trouble with his documentation. The Supreme Court earlier affirmed that the Assin North parliamentary election in 2020 be declared null and void. If I were at the Supreme Court, I would have disagreed with that ruling.
Attorney General of Ghana.
I plead with the Attorney General. He is able to, with the law, discontinue a case over lack of interest from the citizenry. James Gyekye Quayson won overwhelmingly in the recently held Assin North by-election.
Majority no nyae. As a matter of urgency, I'm appealing to the President of the Attorney General, President of the Republic, if he has any role to play, that trial should be aborted. The Attorney General should, as a matter of urgency, file a nolle prosequi to end that particular decision. Sir, make a way because
I say this because it would be an insult to Ghanaians and their Sin-North constituents if the trial is continued. I can't see how beneficial it is for him to be prosecuted. How does he work while in court? You cannot blame him if he is unable to perform his duties as a member of parliament.
Now, the onset of the rains is beginning to expose structures sitting in waterways. Last night, a downpour threw out some residents in Kumasi from their homes. Let's speak to William Evans Inkum, who has been assessing the situation in the Ashanti region and has joined us via Zoom for a quick chat. William, good afternoon. Thank you for your time. We know that if you say Kumasi, Kumasi is quite big. So which specific areas are we referring to here, and what kind of damage are we looking at?
So here we are talking about Sewaba, where several homes have been battered by last night's downpour. I can tell you that even the main road linking Sewaba and the municipal assembly, where Korimampong was also not spared. Part of it has been chopped off, and commuters will have to meander their way through, the narrow stretch to be able to access, several adjoining communities as far as Sewaba and its environs are concerned. Of course, for homes, we are also learning that one person has also died, but we cannot independently verify that for now. We try to actually confirm that from the NADMO, but they are yet to respond to our calls. But that is what we are hearing. It's gone, viral as far as that particular community is concerned. But what is also interesting is they are unable to provide the identity of this particular person. That is why it has become practically difficult to really ascertain the veracity of this particular information. But for livestock, we understand a number of them were carried away by flood waters. So that is the Sewaba case. Now, if you go to Atasmaso, I would say that it was just an expose, because there are a number of structures sitting in waterways. For instance, the road in front of Greasefield Chapel, and then scores of residents, they are all sitting in waterways. And yesterday, the flood water was just enormous. The depth of it was just outrageous. Vehicular movement was quite dire as far as the particular enclave is concerned. And as I said, Martin, it is just an evidence that there are a number of structures which is sitting in waterways. And NADMO is aware, but I don't know what they're going to do about this particular situation, because there are more structures also springing up as far as that particular zone is concerned, more or less becoming a disaster zone. Martin.
And are these places, some of these places you mentioned, are they experiencing this kind of, rain disaster for the first time, or it's, the regular seasonal activity that this time around has intensified?
The regular seasonal activity, for some time now, we're not seeing, a degree of impact like we saw last night, because yesterday the downpour was quite heavy, and some of us were anticipating a situation like this. I am quite surprised, well, I'm not prophet of doom, but quite surprised that we are not counting numbers as far as disaster and fatalities are concerned. Maybe some way, somehow, miraculously we have escaped, but for that unconfirmed report that one person is gone, we are yet to ascertain that. But area like Sewaba, this is not new to them. They've been experiencing quite, a situation whenever there's a downpour. So yesterday wasn't peculiar.
Okay. William Evans Inkum, thank you very much. And certainly we are hoping that NADMO officials will in the next few minutes into days come up with something concrete to help give the people some respite. You're still watching Midday Live on TV3. William Evans Inkum joined us from the Ashanti region, Kumasi. The Deputy Education Minister in charge of TVET, Gifty Chum Ampofu, is optimistic that a rise in Ghana's gross tertiary enrollment will have a positive effect on economic indicators.
The Deputy Education Minister was addressing the 175th anniversary of the Akropong Presbyterian College in the Eastern Region.
The performance of the economy depends on the country's gross tertiary enrollment ratio. Countries who have theirs 40% and above their GDP is fantastic. And those of us who have it lower, the economy is struggling. From last year to this academic year, we have improved our gross tertiary enrollment ratio from 18.8% to 20%. And we're hopeful that by 2030, which is just a few years away, we should hit 40%. And by the time we get to 40%, the GDP of the country, per global research that we have, going to do wonderfully well.
Senior Presidential Advisor Yao Osafo-Maafo assured no student allowances would be affected by the IMF deal.
I know that the difficulty in the economic landscape, which has resulted in government signing up for a program with the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, may cause you some concern. But none of the allowances, including the teaching profession, will be affected by our program with the IMF. If there are any difficulty in prompt payment, the difficulty is coming from our own mobilization of resources and not from the IMF.
Still on education, about 60 nursery school children in Manime in the Keta municipality have been absent from school for more than a month due to a lack of canoes or life jackets to enable them ferry across the river to attend school. My colleague Joseph Armstrong reports that the children who reside in island communities have to cross the river every day to access their basic right of education at Laoshima MA Basic School.
It is a small community with just under 1,000 inhabitants, but it is where pupils and their teachers cross the river to school daily in their quest to seek education. Mary is the daughter of one of the teachers at the Laoshima MA Basic School. She has to cross the river to school without a life jacket every day. After 45 minutes on the river, she walks another hour to reach her school. It is not an easy journey. Mary is even fortunate to have access to a canoe. Peoples who travel from Manime, Hagoji, Slongbe, Diwegodo, Desrokope, and Awaflakpota would have to walk a distance and later cross the river on foot before accessing their school. They undress to prevent their uniforms from getting wet. This is a daily routine for residents here at Mamime. They cross the river to school any day. There's no boat or life jackets. And anytime the river overflows its banks, many of them stay behind due to the deepness of the river. After crossing, they dress up, ready for school, but not until they walk another distance to reach their school. During rainy season, children under 3 are not allowed to cross the river, denying them their right to education.
They are be facing the same program. So, at times, if rain fall heavily, teachers, they may not come here to teach our children. The children too, they may not go there.
The headmaster of the school, Noah Ago, said the situation is making education in the area very difficult.
When the flood comes, it's very difficult for the children to come to school. They are not settled at one particular place. They are scattered. The villages are scattered. So they commute from those villages to school. So when it is raining like that, they find it difficult. Most especially those from Amime, when the flood comes, they find it difficult to cross before getting to school. The grown-up ones are in school. The kids, since they cannot cross, most of them are in the house. About 60 in number. As they are in the house and they are not learning, when they come back and we are unable to cover up what they have left, it goes against them.
The Keita Municipal Chief Executive said he is aware of the predicament confronting that community.
Those villages are cut off by a stream, wide anyway, and it comes from the Avu Lagoon. We tried to see if we can have the place motorable by constructing a bridge. We have had wooden footbridges that normally cave in because it's exposed to both rainfall and sunlight. So the weather sometimes gets the wood deteriorated.
Education has always proven to be a very important tool for development in any country. In Ghana, however, although the government has taken steps to ensure the realization of this, there is still a lot of work to be done as the Ghanaian educational sector is fraught with several challenges, especially in rural areas. Schools in rural communities do not have canoes or life jackets to transport pupils to and from school. Recently, the lack of canoes for pupils that travel from Fana to Wiaboman in the Wejagba municipality in the Greater Accra region led to the death of 9 pupils who were returning home from school. The government has been urged to provide island schools with canoes and life jackets to safeguard pupils who seek to access education. Joseph Armstrong, Gold, Alugbe TV3, Buta region.
Quite challenging to get basic education in some of these rural communities. Anyway, away from that, let's do some health-related stories. And there has been a total of 125 animal deaths in the Upper East region following the outbreak of the anthrax disease. Latest data from the veterinary service shows that as of June 29, 2023, at the least 12 districts in the region had recorded cases of animal deaths. Over the same period, over 120,000 vaccinations have been carried out in the district to prevent further spread of the disease and its accompanied deaths. Dr. Benjamin Sasu is in charge of risk communication at the Ghana Veterinary Service, and will be giving us an update quickly on what's gone on so far regarding the outbreak of the anthrax and its management, whether or not we have been able as a country to nip it in the bud or at least put a halt on the spread. Mr. Sasu, if you can hear me, good afternoon and thank you for joining us. Hello, Mr. Sasu, good afternoon. Unfortunately, we have lost our connection to Mr. Sasu, who is in charge of the vaccination of issues of the spread of the anthrax. So let's really find out what exactly the situation is and find out why or as a country, have we made any success regarding, halting the spread of anthrax? Mr. Sasu has joined us via phone, I should say. Good afternoon, sir, if you can hear me. What's the latest? We are told that some 125 animals have died so far. Can you confirm this number and give us a current situation we have?
Okay, so in the whole of Upper East, since the outbreak, both suspect and confirmed cases of animals have had 125 from various districts, almost 12 districts. Out of it, that we have 6 districts, and that's animals that we pick samples from confirmed to be anthrax. And this is the last count from 23rd of June to today. We have not had any count of outbreak yet. And this has been resorted to due to some of the intervention we placed into it. The first 2 weeks, we started the free vaccination of animals against anthrax. We had about 21,000 people getting the animals vaccinated. But as we speak, as of 23rd, 120,000 animals has been vaccinated, which has 47,025 animals to be for cattle, 32,049 goats be vaccinated, sheep 37,470, then pigs 3,489, making a total of 120,033 animals vaccinated in the whole of Upper East. And so far so good. I think looking at the data, and the participation of the community, the various districts have now cooperated, and we have had a good number of vaccinated. And the vaccination is still ongoing, and currently we are not seeing any cases coming in. And we hope it's maintained for some weeks more, then we could get to a stage of being declared, having Ghana outbreak declared over. Okay. And 2 weeks back, a strong team left Accra to see the situation with the regional public health emergency team. So a lot of sensitization went on well, a lot of discussion went on with stakeholders, even especially before the celebration of Eid al-Adha, and all the measures were put in place. We are still monitoring all the things that we need to do. And we still want everyone to know that when it comes to animals movement, they need to get veterinary service to have movement permits anytime they want to move animals from one place to other. And to especially those who go to the slaughter facility, they need to have them checked and also take a slaughter permit.
So that's actually where my next question will be, Dr. Sasso, if you would indulge me, which is that, I mean, the concern for many was that are we truly, surely saying that we have been able to contain the spread of the anthrax virus in terms of meat, exportation to other regions? Have we been able to contain in this region where we have the certainty that other regions have not and may not record any anthrax outbreaks?
Yes. So once we have run into the 5th week and we haven't had any case in other region, we can say for sure, yes, within these 5 weeks, we had suspected cases in other regions, which 1 or 2 animals died. We went to take samples and all were confirmed as negative. And from that to now, we have still had only Upper East, the few districts in Upper East, being the places for the outbreak, which is something that we have all done, both public, veterinary service, and other agencies. Okay. So yes, we have been able to contain in the region.
Dr. Benjamin Kissi-Sasu, thank you so much for your time. He's a risk communication manager, I should say, with the Ghana Veterinary Service. So feel free to enjoy your meat, but at least do that in moderation while we all await final confirmation that anthrax as a disease has been dealt with in Ghana. We have many more stories for you in the world of business, sports, entertainment, right after this. This is Midday Live.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint. As compared to other paint brands on the market, we take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, 1 bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Send money from ZPay to ZPay and receive 5 CDs cashback. Life moves on and ZPay moves with you.
The 3FM Baby Fair is here.
Parents, make it a family affair with fun photo booths for family shoots, kids arena for the kids to have fun, and so much excitement.
This fair will be a one-stop shop for all childcare products, clothes, toys, child development products, and so much more for every child of every age.
3FM Baby Fair on the 7th July, 8th July, and 9th July 2023 at Marina Mall, Airport City, Accra.
To be a part of the fair and exhibit your products and services as a vendor, please call
0244 405027 right now.
The 3FM Baby Fair, your one-stop shop for all your childcare products. The 3FM Baby Fair is proudly brought to you by Marina Mall. 3FM, your urban lifestyle radio.
Ghana coming out again, the same squad. For the ball, he's got it! Throw it down, King!
Sports Station, Mondays, 9 p.m. on TV3.
Sports Station is brought to you by Betway, Nesta Mouthwash.
Flamingo Paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.
Welcome back to Midday Live on TV3. Time now for business, serious business. We've been joined by Menu Afulford. Hello, Menu.
Hi, Martin.
All right, so let's know what's happening in business.
Thank you very much. Welcome again to the business segment with me, Menu Aful. So we'll begin with former Finance Minister Seth Terkper, who has criticized government for its decision to collateralize proceeds from the Energy Sector Levy Act, ESLA. According to him, the domestic revenue source was introduced to provide funding for power generation and clearance of legacy debts accumulated within the sector, including those of the independent power producers. Speaking at the sidelines of the second KB Emisa Arthur Forum organized in Accra, Mr. Terkper said the goal of introducing ESLA has not been achieved.
If you look at the ESLA revenue that is coming, flowing, 33 billion Ghana cedis to date, and another 33 billion, and I'm quoting from the ESLA report. The goal of using ESLA to resolve those arrears should have been achieved. Of course, when I say 33 billion and 66, we also had the contractors element, enhanced road levy and the rest. So those arrears were to have been, paid, whether who caused it or not. What did we do? We collateralized it, right? And today, the flows are not even enough to pay for the loan, collateralization is the loan that we took, right? And we have found ESLA as part of the domestic debt restructuring. So this is the point I'm making, that we should just remain faithful to the goals and ideals. And remember, ESLA was debated in Parliament extensively, and it would have taken 3 to 5 years, including the IPPs. So it's a problem that government brought itself, and I think it is important that we reach an amicable solution to this one.
In more business stories, to ensure financial inclusion among farmers, financial institutions must make efforts to understand the dynamics of agricultural sector. According to Gender Program Manager, Pan-African Savings and Loans, this is necessary to ensuring that practical and tailored solutions are put in place, particularly for women agricultural players.
Being a woman and being in agriculture, we have seen their efforts. We have seen what they go through, juggling these services, tilling the land and growing the crops, harvesting it, bringing it to the markets for the other women to also sell it. It's a whole long, hard process for these women. So the least any financial institution can actually do is to understand these things that they go through and offer better non-financial services to support them. If they understand what their business is, they understand how to save, they will better be able to operate and then improve their yields.
We'll now shift our attention to the upcoming mid-year budget review as economist and director of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, Professor Peter Korte, expects that macroeconomic challenges facing the Ghanaian economy will be addressed during the mid-year budget review. According to him, there should be policies to tackle the cedi depreciation, inflation and other challenges while protecting businesses and growing the economy. He spoke to 3 Business.
Exchange rate has been fairly stable, but we expect some new policies or new measures to ensure its stability is strengthened. Inflation is still high, although it's been tapering down slightly. Inflation is still high, so I expect to see measures to curb inflation without necessarily hurting the business sector. It shouldn't be interest rate hikes all the time, but other real activities or policies that will strengthen the real sector so that growth would be enhanced within the real sector, and that would help reduce the rise in inflation.
And away from that, government missed its treasury bills target by 17%, raising over 2.3 billion cedis during the last Friday's auction. The target for the auction was 2.91 billion cedis, which includes a sell buyback of about 1 billion cedis, which matures and will be rolled over on July 6. All bids tendered for the 91 and 182-day were accepted by government. The 91-day Treasury bill attracted an interest rate of 23%, while the 182-day attracted an interest of 25%. And that will be all for the business segment here on Midday Live. My name is Menua Fodu. Stay with us for more news after the break.
The 3FM Baby Fair is here.
Parents, make it a family affair with fun photo booth for family shoots, kids arena for the kids to have fun, and so much excitement.
This fair will be a one-stop shop for all childcare products, clothes, toys, child development products, and so much more for every child of every age.
3FM Baby Fair on the 7th July, 8th July, and 9th July 2023 at Marina Mall, Airport City, Accra.
To be a part of the fair and exhibit your products and services as a vendor, please call
0244 405027 right now.
The 3FM Baby Fair, your one-stop shop for all your childcare products. The 3FM Baby Fair is proudly brought to you by Marina Mall. 3FM, your urban lifestyle radio.
Kitchen Wars.
The most anticipated cooking reality show is making its return to your screen. It is Kitchen Wars Season 2. Old school alumni get ready to compete for yet another epic showdown. Which alumni will take over from WAS?
The school that came in first place, West Africa!
Get your ladles out, sharpen your knives, and be ready to battle it out. Interested alumni must be in a group of 6 to participate. Simply send your details 0531 906 281 to register and stand the chance of being the best alumni in the kitchen. It's Kitchen Wars Season 2. Kitchen Wars, your school feed cook. Kitchen Wars.
Kitchen Wars, coming soon on TV3.
Brought to you by Gino Tomato Mix.
Enapa Foods, say Enapa, Enye Ono Soko.
What does love mean to you? Is it words of affirmation, quality time, service, or lovely surprises? We like to get a little cocky and mix things up a bit on Perfect Match. The drama just went up a notch on Perfect Match Extra. Experience the cocktail of love, drama, betrayal, explosive arguments, and steamy confessions Get ready for a thrilling love journey with twists and turns as your television experience just got better with Perfect Match Extra only on TV3. Perfect Match Extra.
Friendship, reality, abstinence.
Let the games begin.
Catch Perfect Match Extra every Monday at 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 p.m. and the live eviction shows on Saturdays at 8 p.m. only on TV3. Sponsored by Close Up Complete Fresh Protection for your important oral care needs. Geisha Moringa and Geisha Black Soap for soft and glowing skin. Frutelli Calipo, Forever Clear. Beauty by Cava.
Darling Lemon Drink.
Flora Tissue. And Napa Foods. Say Napa. Enye Ono Soko. Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil. Heaven Dear Bakope. Top Choco. Ebony Condoms.
Gino Tomato Mix.
Supported by Bell Ice. Capfam. Empire Kitchens. Drugnet. Malcolm. Where Ghana shops.
Blue Jeans Energy Drink.
Ghana coming out again, the same squad. For the ball, he's got it! Throw it down,
Sports Station, Mondays, 9 p.m. on TV3.
Sports Station is brought to you by Betway, Nesta Mouthwash.
Flamingo Paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.
Welcome back to Midday Live on TV3. Time now for sport. Reku Ampofu joins us with the latest. Hello, Reku.
Hi, Martin.
All right, so do take it away then.
Well, thank you very much. We'll be starting from the camp of Chelsea because the Mauricio Pochettino era has officially begun at the London-based club. The former Tottenham and Paris Saint-Germain coach arrived at Koba to start his first preseason training session. Remember, he was appointed as the new Chelsea coach on Saturday and is expected to start work today, working on the team training session ahead of a rigorous preseason session for Mauricio Pochettino and his new side, Chelsea. Well, one player who would not be working with Pochettino is Baba Rahman because his time at Chelsea has come to an end as the Premier League side have reportedly agreed to terminate his contract by mutual agreement. The Ghana left-back is now set to join Greek side PAOK Thessalonica in a free transfer signing, a 2-year deal that will keep him at the club until 2025. Baba's departure from Chelsea marks the end of a frustrating spell for the player who struggled to establish himself in the first team since joining the club in 2015, making just 15 senior appearances. Now, the 29-year-old spent the second half of the 2020-2021 season at PAOK, helping them to win the Greek Cup. Joining us via Zoom to get some more perspective on the Baba Rahman issue is Rahman Osman, who is a London road and has been following Chelsea and Baba Rahman very closely. Rahman, it's good to have you here this afternoon. First off, is there a move that you saw coming, considering Baba himself had 1 year left on his Chelsea contract?
Yeah, so much similarities, Baba Rahman and Rahman Osman, so interesting. But yeah, I mean, it was quite really clear that Baba would try to move on from Chelsea. Like you rightfully said, in 2015 when he went, his first season was quite good. He had 23 games. In that very chaotic Chelsea team, it was under Jose Mourinho. But since then, he went to the AFCON, had a really bad knee injury, and it's not been the same for him. And Chelsea are changing. Chelsea is not the same club that it was under Roman. So they're trying to move on a lot of people, including loan players. A few weeks ago, we're told that Bakayoko's contract was also terminated. Barber's contract was supposed to be terminated, but it had to do with money because Barber rightfully had a year left on his deal, and he was on 4 million. And you can't write off 4 million. Nobody can write off 4 million totally. So it was always going to be about discussions about how to pay maybe 80% of that. And we're told that Barber has been able to get at least 80% of his 4 million in a year deal. And PAOK will sign him on for free. And Chelsea are only now trying to say that if eventually he plays in any form of Europe, be it in the Conference League or the Europa League or the Champions League with PAOK, then Chelsea will get a fee on it. But it's good. It's a good deal for the player. What he will lose, though, is significantly, it's a lot of money in that he was on around 4 million a year. Now he's going for around 1 million. So that's a huge loss in any department if you're going to do. But he's 29. He needs to go to a club where he'll play, a club where he belongs to, and a club that might possibly be playing in Europe.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, Rahman, this afternoon to talk about Baba Rahman. I'm sure we'll do a lot more analysis as the transfer window continues to bring out some of these stories. But we still stay on Chelsea because there's another outgoing as Mason Mount is undergoing the medical with Manchester United today ahead of his proposed £60 million move from Chelsea. The deal includes a potential £5 million of add-ons, strongly dependent on appearances and success. United have offered the England international a 5-year contract with an extra year option. Mount had 1 year left on his contract at Stamford Bridge, and United initially had 3 bids rejected by their Premier League rivals. Well, that's how we wrap up the sport here. You can get some more sports stories on our social media at 3SportsGH. My name is Ore Kwampofo, and up next on Midday Live is entertainment.
All right, so that's the latest in the world of sports. Let's find out what's cooking in the world of entertainment. Crystal is with us.
Yes,
hello,
indeed.
Crystal.
Hello, Martin.
All right, so let's know what's happening.
Yes, indeed. We're taking it to Perfect Match Extra. The journey towards finding true love on Perfect Match Extra has proven to be a roller coaster ride filled with passion, heartbreak, and self-discovery. Well, after a week's entertaining reality experience, Loveland and Etonam, Grace and Bebelino, and Kodak and Bella have finally booked a place at the Perfect Match Extra Grand Finale. Following the eviction of 2 couples from the competition, here are highlights from the final eviction moments.
Who is going to join Kodak and Bella, Grace and Bebelino as the 3rd and final housemates, or set of housemates, vying for 50,000 Ghana cedis and other sponsor prizes? Well, Ghana voted, and tonight, going home is BBN Flash. Thank you so much for being a part of Perfect Match Extra. How's it been? You went, you came back, you've come back again.
Yeah, it was great. This time around, I'm not going alone. I'm glad to be going with Oheneba.
But do you think you and Oheneba will become an item after here?
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay. Oheneba, you feel the same way?
Yeah, I feel the same way.
But how's it been in Big Mama's house?
I came in single, as you all saw, but now, as you can see, brownie is a hard nut to crack, which you all know. But I'm a big hammer, so I can crack it. So hopefully, everything is going to turn out well when we leave this house. We are going to continue what we started here.
Yeah.
She has what I like, so I'm going to be. She's safe. She's safe for now.
She's safe with you.
She's safe with
well, thank you so much for being a part.
We are going. Heaven knows where we are going.
Still on Perfect Match Extra, former housemates Bibi has tipped Grace and Bebelino to win the Perfect Match Extra show. Speaking on TV3, she believes the couple has a stronger connection and as compared to the other housemates.
I walked to the house, I was just observing things, you know, who is playing the game, who is real, who is being fake, who is, I got everybody, like, you know, I literally got everybody. But one thing about Bebelino and Grace, I would say they are real because, like, you know, even at a point, I even told Grace, I know the game that you are playing, but, like, she's being herself, although that people assume that she's playing the game. She's being, I'll define it like she's playing Perfect Match Extra game. You get it? People will wait for the camera to be like, okay, the camera is coming, just, okay, baby, how are you doing?
There were people who were doing that?
Yeah.
Like who?
So,
like who? Tell us. We want to know. If you have to mention one person, is it Bella?
Yeah, Bella and Kodak.
Bella and Kodak, they're playing for the cameras.
Yes.
They're not being real.
Yes, and at a point, I think Lavlin and Etanam as well.
I see.
Yes, so, but when it comes to Bebelino and Grace, there is something. Yeah, there's, although they have this petty fight and all of that, there is something like, you know. Yeah, so I'll say,
So, well, Grace and Bebelino, the two of you are hoping that they would win Perfect Match.
And that's it for entertainment news. My name is Crystal Kwame Ayi. Up next is the international news.
On the international front, the Senegalese opposition leader Ousmane Sonko has called on the public to come out en masse to protest against President Macky Sall seeking a third term. The incumbent is scheduled to give a speech later to announce whether he will run for president in 2024, something most legal experts say would violate the Senegalese constitution. Last month, thousands of protesters took to the streets in various Senegalese cities after Sonko was sentenced to 2 years in prison for the crime of corrupting the youth. Sonko's supporters and some political observers say the case was an attempt to block him from running in next year's presidential election. The clashes were the deadliest in recent Senegalese history. Sonko also said on Sunday that if the president announces a third-term bid, it was incumbent on all the Senegalese people to stand up to face him. Elsewhere on the continent, on the international front, Israel has launched a large-scale military operation against Palestinian militants in the Jenin refugee camp in the occupied West Bank. It started with multiple drone strikes, and Israel has sent some ground troops and forces to try and make sure that the fight is won. Palestinian officials say at the least 5 Palestinians have been killed and more than 20 others wounded. The Israel Defense Forces, IDF, said they were striking terrorist infrastructure in the Jenin area. Israel's foreign minister says they are not planning to widen the operation to the whole of the West Bank. It's fascinating that this conversation about Palestine and Israel has been in the news for time immemorial. And just before we go, the United States Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen will visit Beijing this week in the second trip by a top official in a matter of weeks as the world's 2 biggest economies try to repair frayed ties. Yellen will travel to Beijing from the 6th to the 9th of July, the U.S. Treasury Department said in a statement on Sunday. The visit was also confirmed in a statement by Chinese Finance Ministry on Monday morning. Yellen is expected to discuss the importance of both countries to responsibly manage their relationship, communicate directly about areas of concern, and work together to address global challenges, the Treasury Department indicated in their statement. Yellen's visit comes just a few weeks after U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met China's President Xi Jinping, leading diplomat Wang Yi and Foreign Minister Qi Gang in Beijing in June. And that's how we bring the bulletin to an end. Thank you very much for watching. If you go to our website, 3news.com, you'll get updates of all the stories we brought to you and several others. My name is Martin Esiedidate. Have a good afternoon, and as always, stay positive. Bye for now.